Picture this: crystal clear turquoise waters stretching to the horizon, powder white sand beneath your feet, and the gentle sound of waves lapping at your doorstep. Most people think this costs thousands of dollars a night in the Maldives. But what if I told you there's a completely different Maldives? One where you can live this dream for just $700 a month. Forget everything you think you know about the Maldives. Yes, it's home to some of the world's most expensive overwater villas where celebrities drop $50,000 for a week. But hidden beneath this luxury facade lies a secret that travel companies don't want you to discover. The real Maldives, where locals live, where life moves at island pace, and where your monthly budget can stretch further than you ever imagined. I'm about to take you on a journey through this hidden paradise, where the call to prayer echoes across lagoons at dawn, where fresh tuna curry costs less than a coffee back home, and where your biggest decision each day is which pristine beach to explore. This isn't another travel video about luxury resorts. This is about discovering a way of life that most travelers never see, in a place that's been hiding in plain sight. The tourist trail leads to one type of Maldives experience, but today we're diving deep into the local islands, the inhabited atolls, and the communities that have called these coral gardens home for over 1,000 years. We're talking about places where you can rent a beachfront room for less than what you'd pay for a single night's hotel stay in most Western cities, where the cost of living is so low that many Western remote workers are quietly relocating here, and where the pace of life reminds you what true relaxation actually feels like. But here's what makes this even more incredible. We're not talking about roughing it in some remote backpacker hostel. We're talking about genuine tropical paradise living, with all the modern amenities you need, surrounded by some of the most beautiful natural scenery on Earth. The Maldives isn't just a luxury destination anymore. It's becoming one of the world's most affordable tropical paradises for those who know where to look. So, grab something to drink, get comfortable, and let me show you how to live your best island life in the Maldives for less than most people spend on rent in a single month. Trust me, by the end of this journey, you'll be questioning everything you thought you knew about tropical paradise living. The first thing that blows your mind when you really understand the Maldives is the sheer scale of this island nation. We're not talking about a single tropical island here. Imagine over 100 coral islands scattered like emeralds across 90,000 square kilometers of the Indian Ocean. That's roughly the size of Portugal, but with 99% of it being crystal clear water and only 1% land. Each morning, sunrise paints this vast archipelago in shades of gold and coral pink that would make any photographer weep with joy. These islands aren't randomly scattered either. They're organized into 26 natural atolls, each one a ring of coral islands surrounding a lagoon so blue it almost hurts to look at. From the air, they look like nature's own jewelry box, with each atoll forming a perfect necklace of islands against the deep blue backdrop of the Indian Ocean. But here's where it gets interesting for budget travelers. Out of those 100 islands, only about 80 are developed as tourist resorts. That leaves over 1,000 islands that most tourists never even know exist. This is where the magic happens for budget-conscious travelers. The Maldivian government has designated about 200 of these islands as local islands, places where Maldivian families have lived for generations, where real communities exist, and where visitors can experience authentic Maldivian life. These aren't tourist attractions. They're living, breathing communities with schools, mosques, local councils, and generations of families who've called these coral paradises home. Take Maafushi, for example. Just a 27-minute speedboat ride from the international airport, this local island has become the unofficial backpacker capital of the Maldives. With a population of just over 1,200 people living on an island that's barely 1.2 kilometers long and 200 meters wide, it's like a small neighborhood floating in the middle of paradise. The entire island can be walked from end to end in about 15 minutes, but don't let its size fool you. This little slice of paradise has everything you need for comfortable tropical living. Then there's Thulusdhoo, famous among surfers for its world-class waves but still maintaining that authentic local island charm. This island is slightly larger, with about 1,400 residents, and it's where Coca-Cola bottles their water for the entire Maldives. Talk about pristine water sources. The island has this incredible laid-back vibe where kids play football on the beach every evening. Fishermen return with their catch as the sun sets, and the pace of life moves to the rhythm of the tides. But perhaps the most fascinating is Hulhumalé, an entirely artificial island created from reclaimed land near the airport. This modern planned city represents the future of the Maldives. It's where many young Maldivians are moving for work and education, creating a unique blend of traditional island culture and modern urban life. With wide, planned streets, modern apartments, and all the conveniences of city living, it's like someone took the best parts of tropical island life and urban convenience and merged them into one place. What makes these local islands so special for budget travelers is that they operate on a completely different economic scale than the resort islands. While resort islands exist solely for wealthy tourists, local islands have real economies based on fishing, small-scale tourism, and local businesses. This means prices reflect what locals can actually afford to pay, not what tourists are willing to spend for a luxury experience. The contrast is stark. On a resort island, a simple lunch might cost $80 to $100. On a local island, the same $80 could feed you for an entire week. A hotel room on a resort island starts at $500 per night, while a guesthouse room on a local island might cost $25 to $40 per night. It's like discovering a parallel universe where paradise doesn't come with a premium price tag. But living on these local islands isn't just about saving money. It's about experiencing a completely different way of life, one that's been shaped by over 1,000 years of Islamic culture blended with South Asian, Arab, and East African influences. The result is something truly unique in the world, a tropical Islamic society where ancient traditions meet modern island life. Each morning on these local islands begins the same way it has for centuries, with the melodic call to prayer drifting across the lagoons as the sun rises over the Indian Ocean. It's a sound that becomes deeply comforting once you're living here, this daily reminder that life moves to deeper rhythms than the constant rush of modern urban existence. The first call to prayer, Fajr, happens just before sunrise, and there's something magical about hearing those ancient Arabic verses echo across paradise as the sky slowly lightens from deep purple to coral pink. The people of the Maldives are incredibly welcoming to foreigners who show respect for their culture and traditions. Maldivians call themselves some of the friendliest people in the Indian Ocean, and after spending time on these local islands, you quickly understand why. There's a warmth and genuineness here that comes from living in small, tight-knit communities where everyone knows everyone, where extended families often live on the same island for generations, and where community ties run deeper than individual pursuits. The official language is Divehi, which has its own unique script that looks like a beautiful cross between Arabic and Sanskrit. But most younger Maldivians speak excellent English. It's taught in schools from an early age, and many have learned additional English from interacting with tourists and through popular culture. You'll often hear a musical mix of Divehi and English in casual conversation, especially among the younger generation who seamlessly switch between languages mid-sentence. Daily life on these islands follows patterns that have remained largely unchanged for centuries, even as modern conveniences have been added. Most families still wake up early, not just for religious reasons, but because the cooler morning hours are perfect for getting things done before the tropical heat sets in. You'll see women hanging laundry on lines that stretch between coconut palms, their colorful fabrics creating rainbow patterns against the endless blue sky. The markets come alive early too, especially when the fishing boats return with their catch. This is where you witness one of the most important aspects of Maldivian culture, the central role that tuna plays in daily life. These aren't the canned tuna you might be thinking of. We're talking about massive yellowfin and skipjack tuna, some weighing over 40 kilograms, caught using traditional pole-and-line methods that have been passed down through generations. Watching the fish market operate is like seeing a perfectly choreographed dance that's been performed for centuries. The boats arrive, usually around 6 or 7 a.m., and within minutes the entire catch is laid out on tables. Local women appear with sharp knives and decades of experience, filleting these massive fish with a speed and precision that would make professional chefs jealous. The best cuts disappear quickly. Locals know exactly which fish were caught when and which boats have the best reputation for quality. Children play a huge role in daily island life, and it's one of the most heartwarming aspects of living here. On small islands, kids grow up with incredible freedom and safety. You'll see groups of children as young as 5 or 6 playing unsupervised on the beaches, building sandcastles, playing traditional games, or just splashing in the shallows. There's something beautifully innocent about watching kids who've grown up in paradise. They have this natural confidence in the water that borders on the magical, swimming like dolphins almost before they can walk properly. Afternoons often bring the sound of football being played on the beach. And when I say football, I mean the beautiful game, soccer to Americans. Every local island has its beach football pitch, usually just a flat area of sand with makeshift goalposts, where kids and adults gather every evening to play pickup games. The skill level is often surprisingly high. Growing up playing football on sand develops incredible ball control and balance. These evening games become social events where half the island might gather to watch and cheer. As evening approaches, you'll notice the pace of life slow down even further. Families gather on their porches or in small groups outside their homes, sharing tea and conversation as the heat of the day fades away. There's a beautiful social custom here where neighbors regularly visit each other without formal invitations. It's perfectly normal to just drop by someone's house for tea and a chat, especially in the cooler evening hours. The evening call to prayer, Maghrib, marks the transition into night, and this is when many of the best social activities happen. Small groups gather to play traditional games like carom or dominoes. Families share dinner together, and young people might gather on the beach to play music or just talk under the stars. There's no rush, no schedule to keep. Time moves differently here, measured by tides and prayer times rather than clocks and deadlines. One of the most striking things about daily life here is how closely connected it remains to the natural environment. People still time their activities around the tides. Certain types of fishing work better at specific tidal phases. Boats schedule their departures based on tidal conditions, and even daily activities like collecting coconuts or doing laundry often align with natural rhythms rather than arbitrary human schedules. This deep connection to nature creates a lifestyle that many Western visitors find incredibly healing and restorative. There's something profoundly relaxing about living in a place where your biggest concerns are. Whether the fish were biting that morning, or if the weather will be good for a beach picnic, rather than traffic jams, work deadlines, or urban stress. But what really makes this lifestyle accessible to budget travelers is how this traditional way of life creates incredibly affordable living costs. When communities are still largely self-sufficient, when fish are caught locally, when coconuts grow in everyone's backyard, and when the pace of life doesn't demand expensive entertainment or constant consumption, the cost of living naturally stays low. This brings us perfectly to one of the most delicious aspects of living in the Maldives: the food. If you think you know what good fish tastes like, prepare to have your mind completely blown. Maldivian cuisine is what happens when you take the freshest seafood on earth, combine it with coconut, aromatic spices, and over 1,000 years of culinary evolution. Then perfect it in isolated island communities where every meal has to be special because there's no backup plan. The foundation of Maldivian cuisine rests on 3 pillars: fish, coconut, and rice. But calling it simple would be like calling a symphony just organized noise. The complexity and depth of flavors that Maldivian cooks create from these basic ingredients is absolutely extraordinary. This is cuisine born from necessity but perfected through generations of island living, where every ingredient is precious and nothing goes to waste. Let's start with breakfast, because Maldivian breakfast will ruin you for cereal forever. The national breakfast dish is called Maafushi, and it's basically the perfect way to start any day in paradise. Take the freshest tuna you've ever tasted. We're talking fish that was swimming yesterday. Flake it by hand, then mix it with freshly grated coconut, finely chopped onions, and chili peppers. The result is this incredibly flavorful, protein-rich dish that's both satisfying and light enough for tropical mornings. Maafushi is traditionally served with roshi, which is the Maldivian version of flatbread. But this isn't just any flatbread. Roshi is made fresh daily in most households, rolled thin and cooked on a griddle until it's soft and slightly chewy. When you tear off a piece of warm roshi and scoop up some maafushi, the combination of textures and flavors is absolutely perfect. The saltiness of the tuna, the sweetness of fresh coconut, the bite of onions and chili, all wrapped in soft, warm bread. For budget travelers, here's the beautiful part. A filling breakfast of maafushi and roshi will cost you between 15 to 25 rupiah at a local cafe, which is roughly $1 to $160 USD. Compare that to what you'd pay for breakfast in most Western cities, and you're looking at paying about 1/10 the price for food that's infinitely fresher and more nutritious. But the real star of Maldivian cuisine is the curry. Maldivian fish curry, or mas riha, is what happens when centuries of South Asian spice knowledge meets the best tuna in the world. The base is made from freshly grated coconut that's been processed into coconut milk. Not the canned stuff you buy in stores, but coconut milk that was literally extracted from coconuts that morning. This coconut milk is then infused with a complex blend of spices: curry leaves, pandan leaves, cinnamon, cardamom, and a special curry powder blend that varies from island to island and family to family. The tuna is added to this aromatic coconut broth along with onions, tomatoes, and chili peppers, then simmered until the flavors meld together into something that can only be described as tropical comfort food perfection. The curry is typically served over rice with a side of roshi, and eating it feels like getting a warm hug from the inside out. The richness of the coconut milk balances perfectly with the spices, while the tuna remains tender and flaky, absorbing all those incredible flavors. A full lunch of fish curry, rice, and roshi at a local restaurant will typically cost between 25 to 40 rupiah, which works out to about $1.60 to $2.60 USD. For that price, you're getting enough food to keep you satisfied for hours. Made with ingredients that are fresher than anything you could buy in most grocery stores back home. But Maldivian cuisine goes far beyond just tuna curry. There's an entire category of food called hedika, short eats or snacks that are perfect for tropical grazing throughout the day. These include things like mas bajia, tuna-filled pastries, gulha, tuna and coconut balls, and kimia, tuna rolls. Each one is like a perfectly crafted bite of tropical flavor, ideal for eating while watching sunset on the beach or sharing with friends during afternoon tea. One of the most popular hedika is called bis kimiaya, which are these incredible pastry rolls filled with spiced tuna, hard-boiled eggs, and vegetables, then deep-fried until golden. They're crispy on the outside, flavorful and moist on the inside, and absolutely addictive. A plate of mixed hedika makes for the perfect light dinner, especially when paired with sweet tea and good conversation. Speaking of tea, the Maldivian tea culture is something special. Afternoon tea time, usually around 3 or 4 p.m., is practically a religious experience here. Families and friends gather to share sweet, milky tea along with hedika, and it's during these tea sessions that you really experience the warmth and hospitality of Maldivian culture. The tea itself is typically black tea boiled with milk, sugar, and sometimes cardamom, creating this comforting, slightly spiced drink that's perfect for the tropical climate. For those looking for something refreshing, the juice bars on local islands are absolute paradise. Fresh coconut water straight from coconuts that were literally growing above your head that morning, papaya juice, watermelon juice, and incredible smoothie combinations using tropical fruits you might not even recognize. One of the most remarkable things about eating in the Maldives is how sustainable and local everything is. The fish in your curry was probably caught within a few miles of where you're eating it, often within the past 24 hours. The coconut in your curry was harvested from palms you can see outside the restaurant window. The vegetables, while some are imported, are often grown in small gardens on the islands or brought in from agricultural islands within the same atoll. This localism creates flavors that are impossible to replicate anywhere else. Coconut tastes different when it's harvested fresh versus when it's been processed and shipped around the world. Tuna tastes completely different when it's never been frozen, when it goes from ocean to plate in a matter of hours rather than weeks or months. It's the difference between listening to music on tinny phone speakers versus experiencing a live orchestra. Technically the same thing, but the experience is incomparable. For budget travelers, this means you can eat like royalty for less than you'd spend on fast food back home. A full day's worth of meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks can easily be covered for under 8 to 12 USD if you eat at local cafes and restaurants. Even if you want to splurge occasionally on slightly more upscale local restaurants, you're looking at maybe $15 to $20 USD for a day of absolutely incredible food. But food in the Maldives is not just about sustenance. It's deeply woven into the social fabric of island life. Sharing meals is how relationships are built and maintained, how communities come together, and how traditions are passed down through generations. When you eat at local restaurants or are invited to share meals with Maldivian families, you're not just eating food. You're participating in cultural traditions that have been practiced for centuries. This communal aspect of food culture makes the Maldives incredibly welcoming for solo travelers or digital nomads looking to build connections in their new community. Food becomes the universal language that bridges cultural gaps and creates lasting friendships. Now let's talk about something that many travel videos skip over entirely, but which is crucial for understanding life in any new culture: the social dynamics, relationships, and what it's really like to form connections in the Maldives as a foreign visitor. This is particularly important because the Maldives is a conservative Islamic society, which means the social rules and expectations are quite different from what many Western travelers might be accustomed to. First, let's address the elephant in the room: dating and romantic relationships. The Maldives is a 100% Muslim country, and Islamic values deeply influence social interactions between men and women. This doesn't mean that romance doesn't exist or that it's impossible to form meaningful relationships, but it does mean that the approach is much more respectful, gradual, and family-oriented than what you might be used to in Western dating culture. For foreign men interested in meeting Maldivian women, patience and respect are absolutely essential. Maldivian society places high value on women's honor and family reputation, which means that casual dating, as understood in Western contexts, simply doesn't exist here. If you're genuinely interested in someone, the expectation is that you're considering a serious, long-term relationship that could potentially lead to marriage. This might sound intimidating, but it actually creates a social environment where relationships, when they do form, tend to be much more meaningful and committed. The process typically involves getting to know someone through family and community connections rather than through bars, clubs, or dating apps. Since most local islands are small communities where everyone knows everyone, any romantic interest becomes community knowledge pretty quickly. This means that your behavior and reputation matter enormously. If you're respectful, kind, and genuinely interested in the culture, people will notice and appreciate it. If you're just looking for casual encounters, that will be noticed too, and doors will close very quickly. For foreign women, the social dynamics are somewhat different, but equally important to understand. Maldivian men are generally very respectful toward women, and the society provides strong social protections for women's safety and honor. However, this also means that certain types of social interactions that might be normal in Western countries, like going out for drinks with male friends, wearing revealing clothing, or being alone with men who aren't family members, are simply not acceptable here. This doesn't mean that foreign women can't form friendships or have social lives in the Maldives, but it does mean adapting to local norms. Many foreign women living in the Maldives find that their closest friendships are with Maldivian women, who are often incredibly warm, welcoming, and eager to share their culture with respectful visitors. These friendships can be deeply rewarding and provide insights into Maldivian life that would be impossible to gain otherwise. The conservative nature of Maldivian society also means that alcohol is not available on local islands. This is important to understand because it completely changes the social landscape compared to many other tropical destinations. Social gatherings revolve around tea, coffee, fresh juices, and food rather than drinking. Evening entertainment might include traditional music, storytelling, board games, or simply sitting on the beach watching the stars rather than bar hopping or nightclub scenes. For many Western visitors, this alcohol-free social environment is actually refreshing once they adjust to it. Conversations tend to be more genuine, friendships form based on shared interests rather than shared drinks, and the absence of alcohol-fueled drama creates a much more peaceful social atmosphere. Plus, think about how much money you'll save not buying overpriced drinks. That alone could pay for several weeks of meals. Speaking of nightlife, let's be realistic about what evening entertainment looks like on local islands. If you're looking for nightclubs, bars, or late-night party scenes, the local islands of the Maldives are not for you. However, if you're open to a different kind of social life, you might find it even more enjoyable than traditional nightlife. Evenings on local islands are magical in their own way. As the sun sets, families gather on beaches and in front of their homes. Children play games, adults share tea and conversation, and there's often traditional music. Boduberu, the traditional drum music of the Maldives, sometimes appears at special occasions and celebrations. The rhythmic drumming, combined with traditional singing, creates an incredibly atmospheric experience under the tropical stars. Many local islands have small community centers or spaces where residents gather to play traditional games like carom, dominoes, or cards. These gatherings are typically open to respectful visitors, and they're excellent opportunities to practice divehi, learn about local customs, and form genuine friendships. The competitive spirit around carom games can get quite intense, and being invited to participate is usually a sign that you're being accepted into the community. Beach volleyball, football, and other sports often happen during the cooler evening hours, and these activities are usually inclusive and welcoming to visitors who want to participate. Sports become a universal language that transcends cultural barriers, and many foreign residents find that joining evening sports activities is one of the fastest ways to integrate into local island life. For digital nomads and remote workers living in the Maldives, the social scene often revolves around small groups of like-minded international residents. While the numbers are still relatively small, there's a growing community of location-independent professionals who've discovered the Maldives as an affordable base for tropical living. These communities tend to be tight-knit and supportive, sharing resources, organizing group activities, and helping newcomers navigate local customs and logistics. One aspect that many visitors find surprising is how family-oriented Maldivian society is. Extended families often live close together, sometimes on the same island, and family gatherings are frequent and important social events. Being invited to family gatherings is a significant honor and a sign of acceptance. These events typically involve lots of food, traditional games, storytelling, and multi-generational socializing that creates a warm, inclusive atmosphere. The respect for elders in Maldivian society is also something that many Western visitors find refreshing. Older community members are treated with genuine respect and are often sought out for advice and wisdom. As a foreign resident, showing appropriate respect for local elders is noticed and appreciated, and often leads to being more fully accepted into the community. For solo female travelers, the Maldives is generally very safe, but it's important to understand and respect local customs regarding dress and behavior. Modest clothing is expected. This means covering shoulders, cleavage, and legs from knee to ankle in public areas. Many female visitors find that once they adapt to dressing modestly, they're treated with enormous respect and are welcomed warmly by local communities. The growing expat community means that there are often informal networks of foreign residents who organize activities, share information, and provide support for newcomers. Social media groups, informal meetups, and word-of-mouth networks help connect international residents and create social opportunities that respect local customs while providing familiar social interactions. Building meaningful relationships in the Maldives requires patience, respect, and genuine interest in the culture, but the rewards can be extraordinary. The friendships formed here tend to be deep and lasting, based on mutual respect and shared experiences in a unique island environment. Many foreign residents speak about feeling more connected to their communities in the Maldives than they ever felt in their home countries, despite the cultural differences. As we transition from the social aspects of life in the Maldives, it's impossible not to mention the role that faith and celebration play in daily life. The rhythm of life here is punctuated by Islamic holidays, traditional festivals, and community celebrations that bring color, joy, and deep meaning to island living. The Islamic calendar provides the framework for many of the year's most important celebrations, and understanding these festivals is crucial for anyone planning to live in the Maldives. Ramadan, the month of fasting, transforms daily life completely. During daylight hours, practicing Muslims abstain from food, drink, and other physical needs, which creates a completely different energy on the islands. The pace of life slows down even further. Many businesses operate on reduced hours, and there's a more contemplative, spiritual atmosphere that permeates everything. But here's what many visitors do not expect. Ramadan can actually be one of the most beautiful times to experience Maldivian culture. The evening iftar meals, when the day's fast is broken, become community celebrations filled with special foods, shared prayers, and an incredible sense of gratitude and togetherness. Non-Muslim visitors who show respect for the fasting period and participate appropriately in evening celebrations often report that these experiences gave them their deepest insights into Maldivian culture and values. Eid celebrations mark the end of Ramadan and the end of the Hajj pilgrimage season, and these are absolutely joyous occasions. Islands come alive with decorations, special foods, new clothes, and community-wide celebrations that can last for days. Children receive gifts, families visit each other, and there's a festival atmosphere that's impossible to resist. For foreign residents, being included in Eid celebrations is often a milestone moment in feeling truly welcomed into the community. The Maldives also celebrates several national holidays that blend patriotic pride with cultural traditions. Independence Day on July 26th is celebrated with parades, traditional performances, and community gatherings that showcase Maldivian history and culture. Republic Day on November 11th marks the transition from Sultanate to Republic, and Victory Day on November 3rd commemorates the victory over Portuguese occupation in 1573. These celebrations provide incredible opportunities to witness traditional Maldivian music, dance, and cultural performances that are rarely seen by tourists visiting resort islands. Traditional music plays a huge role in these celebrations, particularly Bodu Beru, which is the heartbeat of Maldivian cultural expression. Bodu Beru performances involve a group of musicians playing traditional drums while singing songs that tell stories of island life, love, adventure, and history. The rhythmic drumming builds in intensity, creating an almost hypnotic effect that can continue for hours. Participating in or witnessing authentic Bodu Beru performances provides a direct connection to Maldivian cultural traditions that go back centuries. Another important cultural element is traditional storytelling. Older community members often gather younger people to share folk tales, historical stories, and moral lessons that have been passed down through generations. These storytelling sessions, often held during cooler evening hours, provide incredible insights into Maldivian values, history, and worldview. For foreign residents who take the time to participate and show genuine interest, these sessions can be transformative experiences. The community aspect of celebrations in the Maldives is something that many Western visitors find deeply moving. Unlike the individualistic celebration styles common in many Western countries, Maldivian celebrations are inherently communal. Everyone contributes something, whether it's food, labor, decorations, or simply their presence and participation. This creates a sense of belonging and shared purpose that many foreign residents describe as profoundly healing and fulfilling. Religious observance also provides structure and meaning to daily life in ways that many secular Western visitors find surprisingly appealing. The 5 daily prayer times create natural rhythm and pause points in each day. Even for non-Muslim residents, the call to prayer provides a beautiful, meditative element to daily life, a regular reminder to pause, reflect, and appreciate the present moment. The community mosque serves as much more than just a place of worship. It's the social and cultural heart of most local islands. Friday prayers bring the entire community together, and the mosque often serves as a venue for community meetings, educational programs, and social services. The architectural beauty of Maldivian mosques, often featuring intricate wood carvings and designs that reflect both Islamic and local artistic traditions, adds visual beauty to the island landscape. For visitors interested in learning about Islam, the Maldives offers a unique opportunity to witness and understand Islamic culture in a tropical, peaceful setting. Maldivian Islam tends to be moderate and welcoming, and many locals are happy to share their knowledge and answer respectful questions about their faith and traditions. This educational aspect can be incredibly enriching for visitors from different religious or cultural backgrounds. The integration of Islamic values with traditional island culture has created unique customs and traditions that exist nowhere else in the world. For example, the traditional Maldivian wedding ceremony blends Islamic religious requirements with ancient island customs, creating beautiful, meaningful celebrations that can last for several days and involve entire communities. Traditional healing practices also blend Islamic principles with local herbal knowledge passed down through generations. While modern healthcare is available, many Maldivians still consult traditional healers for certain conditions, and the herbal remedies often use plants and techniques that have been used on these islands for centuries. The calendar of celebrations and observances means that there's almost always something happening throughout the year, whether it's religious holidays, national celebrations, local festivals, or community events. This creates a richness and variety in daily life that prevents the kind of boredom or isolation that some people fear when considering tropical island living. Now, let's get down to the practical details that everyone really wants to know. Exactly how much does it cost to live comfortably in the Maldives? And how do you make that legendary $700 monthly budget actually work? I'm going to break this down dollar by dollar, because the devil is in the details. But the prices will shock you compared to Western standards. A basic but clean guest house room with air conditioning, private bathroom, and Wi-Fi typically runs between 250 to 350 rupiah per night on islands like Maafushi or Thulusdhoo. That works out to roughly $16 to $23 USD per night, or about $408 to $690 per month if you negotiate a long-term rate. But here's where it gets even better. Most guesthouse owners are willing to negotiate significantly better rates for stays longer than a month. Many long-term residents report paying between 6,000 to 8,000 rupiah per month, roughly $390 to $520 USD, for comfortable rooms with all basic amenities included. Some even manage to find deals as low as 4,000 to 5,000 rupiah per month, $260 to $325 USD, for more basic accommodations, especially if they're willing to stay in shared spaces or help out with guesthouse operations. On Hulhumalé, the options are slightly different. You can find modern apartment shares for around 8,000 to 12,000 rupiah per month, $520 to $780 USD, which often include utilities and are closer to Western-style living arrangements. Some digital nomads prefer Hulhumalé specifically because the accommodation options are more familiar and the internet infrastructure is typically more reliable. Speedboats to more distant islands. Utilities and internet are usually included in most guesthouse accommodations. But if you're renting an apartment independently, expect to pay around 500 to 800 rupiah per month, $32 to $52 USD, for electricity and water. Internet, when not included, typically costs around 400 to 600 rupiah per month, 26 qadirs to $39 USD, for decent residential connections. The internet speeds are generally adequate for remote work, video calls, and streaming, though they're not as fast as what you might be used to in major Western cities. Healthcare costs are remarkably low for basic services. Most local islands have health posts or small clinics where basic medical consultations cost around 50 to 100 rupiah, $3.25 to $6.50 USD. Prescription medications are typically much cheaper than Western prices. For more serious medical issues, you might need to travel to Malay or even abroad, so having comprehensive health insurance is recommended for long-term residents. Entertainment and miscellaneous expenses can be kept very low if you embrace the local lifestyle. Beach activities, swimming, snorkeling, and socializing are essentially free. Occasional boat trips for fishing or exploring might cost 200 to 500 rupiah, $13 to $32 USD. Traditional games, community events, and local festivals provide regular entertainment at no cost. Let's put this all together into realistic monthly budgets. Ultra budget option, $500 to $600 US a month. Accommodation, $300 to $350, basic guesthouse room, long-term rate. Food, $8,400, eating local food exclusively. Transportation, $30 to $40, bicycle rental, occasional ferry rides. Utilities, internet, $30 to $30, usually included in accommodation. Healthcare, miscellaneous, $40 to $60. Total, $450 to $580 USD month. Comfortable budget, $700 to $900 USD month. Accommodation, $400 to $500. Nice guesthouse room or apartment share. Food, $100 to $120, $150, mix of local and some familiar foods. Transportation, $40 to $60, bicycle, regular ferry travel. Utilities, internet, $30 to $50 if not included. Healthcare, entertainment, $60 to $100. Buffer for extras, $50 to $100. Total, $700 to $860 used month. Higher end budget, $1,000 to $1,200 US a month. Accommodation, $600 and $700, modern apartment or premium guest house. Food, $200 to $250, mix of local and imported foods, occasional splurges. Transportation, $60 to $80, including occasional speedboat trips. Utilities, internet, $50 to $70. Healthcare, entertainment, $100 to $150. Total, so $1,010 to $1,250 USD month. The key to making these budgets work is understanding that the Maldivian lifestyle naturally supports low-cost living. The climate means you need minimal clothing. The social culture means entertainment doesn't require spending money. The local food is both incredibly healthy and affordable. And the small scale of island communities means many conveniences are within walking distance. Many digital nomads and remote workers find that their overall quality of life actually improves dramatically while their costs decrease significantly. The stress reduction alone, from living in a peaceful, safe environment surrounded by natural beauty, often leads to improved health, better sleep, and increased productivity that can actually boost earning potential. The secret to thriving on these budgets is embracing the local lifestyle, rather than trying to recreate Western living standards. This means eating local food, using local transportation, participating in local social activities, and appreciating the natural entertainment that tropical island living provides. But let's be realistic about the transportation situation, because getting around in the Maldives is unlike anywhere else on Earth, and understanding the logistics is crucial for anyone considering making this tropical paradise home. This is a country where the primary highways are made of water, where traffic jams involve fishing boats, and where your daily commute might include views that would be magazine covers anywhere else in the world. The most important thing to understand is that cars are almost entirely absent from Maldivian life outside of Malé, the capital city. Most local islands are so small that introducing cars would be completely impractical. We're talking about islands where you can walk from one end to the other in 10 to 20 minutes. Instead, the transportation network consists of bicycles, walking, boats, and more boats. Bicycles are the kings of local island transportation. Every guest house typically has bicycles available for guests, and long-term residents usually either rent bicycles monthly or purchase used ones from locals. The bicycle infrastructure is surprisingly well developed on most inhabited islands. There are usually paved paths or roads that connect all the main areas of each island, and the flat terrain makes cycling effortless for people of all fitness levels. What makes cycling in the Maldives absolutely magical is the scenery. Imagine pedaling along paths lined with coconut palms, with glimpses of turquoise lagoons through the trees, and the constant sound of waves lapping against the shore. Your daily bike ride to get groceries or visit friends becomes a scenic tour through paradise that never gets old. Plus, the tropical breeze while cycling provides natural air conditioning that makes even the warmest days comfortable. For longer distances within an island, walking is not only practical but enjoyable. The pace of life naturally supports walking as transportation. There's rarely any reason to be in a hurry. The distances are short, and the weather is generally pleasant for walking during the cooler parts of the day. Many residents report that the daily walking, combined with the overall active lifestyle, dramatically improves their fitness and health compared to their previous car-dependent lifestyles. But the real adventure begins when you need to travel between islands. This is where the Maldives' unique ferry and speedboat network comes into play, and it's honestly one of the most scenic transportation systems in the world. The government operates regular ferry services between many inhabited islands, and these ferries are incredibly affordable, comfortable, and reliable. The ferry experience itself is part of the charm of living in the Maldives. These aren't cramped, uncomfortable boats. Most ferries are modern vessels with comfortable seating, air conditioning, and large windows that provide stunning views during the journey. The trips between islands become mini cruises where you're surrounded by endless blue water, passing by uninhabited islands, and often spotting dolphins, rays, and other marine life along the way. Ferry schedules are designed around local needs rather than tourist convenience, which means they operate on practical timetables that connect communities for work, school, shopping, and social visits. Most major ferry routes operate daily, with some routes having multiple departures per day. The punctuality is generally excellent. Island communities depend on these ferries, so they maintain reliable schedules. Costs for ferry travel are remarkably reasonable. For faster travel or routes not served by regular ferries, speedboats are available. These range from small local speedboats that serve as island taxis to larger, more comfortable vessels that operate scheduled services. Many local islands also have traditional donis, the iconic curved bow boats that have been used in the Maldives for centuries. While these aren't typically used for regular transportation anymore, they're often available for fishing trips, sunset excursions, or cultural experiences. Riding in a traditional dhonie provides a direct connection to centuries of Maldivian maritime culture and is an experience that never loses its magic. One aspect of Maldivian transportation that many visitors find initially challenging but eventually love is the need to plan ahead. Unlike urban environments where you can grab a taxi or catch a bus whenever you want, boat transportation operates on specific schedules that need to be considered when making plans. This initially seems limiting, But most residents find that it actually improves their quality of life by encouraging better planning and reducing the rushed, always available mentality that creates stress in modern urban living. The transportation limitations also create a unique social dynamic. Since everyone on each island uses similar transportation options and schedules, you frequently encounter the same people during your travels. Ferry rides become social experiences where you chat with neighbors, catch up on island news, and build relationships with fellow travelers. This is completely different from anonymous urban transportation where you might never see the same person twice. For digital nomads and remote workers, the transportation system actually works quite well once you understand it. Most inhabited islands have reliable internet and all necessary amenities, so you don't need to travel frequently for work purposes. When you do need to travel, whether for supplies, social activities, or just exploration, the boat journeys provide natural breaks from work and screen time that many remote workers find refreshing and beneficial for creativity and mental health. Emergency transportation is also well organized. Each inhabited island has access to emergency speedboat services for medical emergencies, and the Coast Guard maintains rapid response capabilities throughout the archipelago. While these services are hopefully never needed, it's reassuring to know that even on remote islands, emergency transportation to medical facilities is available 24/7. The seasonal variations in transportation also add an interesting rhythm to life in the Maldives. During the southwest monsoon season, roughly May to November, some routes might be occasionally disrupted by rough weather. But the modern ferry fleet is designed to handle typical tropical weather conditions. Many residents actually enjoy the slightly more dramatic sea conditions during monsoon season. The waves are bigger, the skies are more dramatic, and the rain provides a different kind of tropical beauty. For those considering island hopping as a lifestyle, the transportation costs can add up, but they're still incredibly reasonable compared to domestic travel costs in most Western countries. Many long-term residents budget around $50 to $100 per month for transportation, which allows for regular inter-island travel, exploration, and social visits. This budget can take you to multiple islands each month, providing variety and adventure that would cost thousands of dollars in most other tropical destinations. The transportation system also connects you to the incredible natural beauty that makes the Maldives so special. Every boat journey is an opportunity to witness marine life, experience perfect tropical weather, and see landscapes that most people only encounter in travel magazines. This constant exposure to natural beauty becomes part of daily life rather than something you have to seek out or pay extra to experience. And speaking of natural beauty, let's dive into what really makes the Maldives special beyond the Instagram photos and luxury resort marketing. The raw, untouched natural paradise that surrounds daily life here, and how you can experience world-class natural wonders without spending resort-level money. The moment you wake up on a local island in the Maldives, you're immediately surrounded by some of the most pristine natural environments left on Earth. We're talking about coral reefs so healthy and vibrant that marine biologists travel from around the world to study them, beaches so perfect they look computer-generated, and marine life so abundant that every swim feels like visiting an aquarium designed by nature herself. Let's start with the beaches, because Maldivian beaches spoil you for every other beach experience for the rest of your life. The sand here isn't just white. It's powder-fine coral sand, so soft it feels like walking on silk. This sand stays cool even under the tropical sun because of its composition and the constant sea breeze. The beaches on local islands are typically completely undeveloped, meaning no beach chairs, no vendors, no crowds, just endless stretches of perfect sand meeting impossibly blue water. But here's what makes these beaches truly special. They're completely free and accessible to everyone. Unlike resort islands where beaches are restricted to paying guests, local island beaches are public spaces where you can spend entire days swimming, sunbathing, reading, or just watching the constantly changing colors of the lagoons. Many residents develop favorite spots along their island's coastline. Quiet corners perfect for morning meditation, areas with the best snorkeling access, or stretches that catch the most spectacular sunsets. The snorkeling opportunities available right off these local island beaches would cost hundreds of dollars per day at luxury resorts. House reefs, coral formations that grow right up to the shoreline, provide access to underwater worlds that most people never get to experience. You literally walk into the water from the beach, swim out 50 to 100 meters, and suddenly you're floating above coral gardens teeming with tropical fish. The diversity of marine life is absolutely staggering. On a single snorkeling session, you might encounter parrotfish, angelfish, butterfly fish, clownfish, groupers, snappers, and dozens of other species whose names you'll gradually learn from local fishermen and fellow snorkelers. Many house reefs also attract larger species. It's not uncommon to spot reef sharks, stingrays, eagle rays, and even occasional whale sharks during certain seasons. What makes this even more incredible is that snorkeling gear is incredibly affordable to buy or rent locally. A decent mask, snorkel, and fins can be purchased for around $30 to $50 USD total, or rented daily for about $3 to $5 USD. Considering that snorkeling excursions at luxury resorts often cost $100 to $200 per person, having unlimited access to world-class snorkeling for a one-time gear investment is an amazing value. The coral reefs themselves are living masterpieces that change constantly. Different types of coral create underwater landscapes that range from gentle rolling formations to dramatic drop-offs and swim-through channels. The colors are almost impossible to believe. Bright oranges, deep purples, electric blues, and every shade of green imaginable. Many snorkelers report that they never get tired of exploring the same house reef because the marine life, lighting conditions, and coral growth create new experiences every single day. Beyond the house reefs, many local islands are surrounded by multiple reef systems, sandbanks, and channels that provide diverse snorkeling and diving opportunities. Local dive shops and boat operators offer incredibly affordable access to these sites. A full-day snorkeling trip to multiple locations typically costs between $30 to $60 USD per person, including equipment, lunch, and transportation. Compare this to similar experiences in other tropical destinations where you might pay $150 to $300 for equivalent trips. The seasonal marine life migrations add another layer of excitement to living here. Whale shark season, typically from May to November, brings these gentle giants to Maldivian waters in large numbers. Many local islands organize whale shark excursions where you can swim alongside these magnificent creatures, experiences that cost thousands of dollars in other destinations but are available for $50 to $100 from local operators. Manta ray cleaning stations exist throughout the Maldives, where these graceful giants come to have small cleaner fish remove parasites from their bodies. Swimming with manta rays is considered one of the world's premier marine experiences, and having access to these cleaning stations from local islands means you can potentially experience it multiple times rather than as a once-in-a-lifetime expensive excursion. The night diving and snorkeling opportunities are equally spectacular. Many coral species are more active at night, and completely different sets of marine life emerge after dark. Night snorkeling reveals hunting octopi, sleeping parrotfish, active coral polyps, and bioluminescent plankton that create underwater light shows. Local operators offer night snorkeling trips for around $25 to $40 USD, providing access to experiences that are completely unavailable at most tropical destinations. Fishing opportunities in the Maldives are legendary among angling enthusiasts. The combination of deep ocean access, abundant fish populations, and traditional fishing knowledge creates incredible fishing experiences. Local fishing trips, usually on traditional dhonis, cost between $30 to $80 USD per person for half-day excursions, and often result in catching dinner-sized fish that local restaurants will prepare for you at minimal additional cost. The traditional Maldivian fishing methods are sustainable and effective, using pole and line techniques that have been perfected over centuries. Learning these traditional fishing methods from local fishermen provides cultural insights while developing practical skills for living in a maritime environment. Many foreign residents report that fishing becomes not just a hobby, but a practical way to supplement their food supplies with incredibly fresh seafood. Island hopping opportunities from local islands are virtually unlimited and incredibly affordable. Uninhabited islands, sandbanks, and lagoons are scattered throughout every atoll, and local boat operators can arrange day trips to these pristine locations for $20 to $50 USD per person. These uninhabited islands offer the ultimate Robinson Crusoe experience. You can spend entire days on islands where you're the only human beings, surrounded by untouched beaches, coral reefs, and tropical vegetation. Many uninhabited islands have different characteristics that make them worth exploring repeatedly. Some are perfect for shell collecting, others have exceptional snorkeling reefs. Some offer ideal conditions for photography, and others are simply perfect for picnics and relaxation. Having access to multiple uninhabited islands means you can always find solitude and pristine natural beauty, even during busier tourist seasons. The bioluminescent plankton displays that occur in Maldivian waters during certain conditions are absolutely magical. When disturbed, these microscopic organisms emit blue light, creating underwater light shows that look like swimming through liquid starlight. Beach walks during plankton blooms reveal footsteps that glow with each step, and swimming during these conditions creates trails of blue light around your body. These natural phenomena can't be scheduled or guaranteed, but living in the Maldives long-term means you'll eventually witness these incredible displays. Sunset and sunrise experiences in the Maldives are daily events that never lose their impact. The lack of light pollution on local islands means that both sunrise and sunset are spectacular daily occurrences. Many residents develop personal sunrise or sunset routines: morning yoga on the beach, evening meditation, or simply daily appreciation walks. Having access to perfect sunrise and sunset views every single day, rather than as occasional special experiences, fundamentally changes your relationship with natural beauty and daily rhythms. The weather patterns in the Maldives create different types of natural beauty throughout the year. The dry season, roughly December to April, provides perfect sunny conditions with calm seas, ideal for water activities and photography. The wet season, roughly May to November, brings more dramatic skies, occasional rain showers that provide relief from heat, and slightly rougher seas that create different types of marine experiences. Many long-term residents actually prefer the wet season for its variety and the more dramatic natural displays. Living surrounded by this level of natural beauty has profound psychological and spiritual effects that many residents report. The constant access to pristine beaches, clear water, and abundant marine life creates a daily environment that most people experience only during expensive vacations. This constant immersion in natural beauty often leads to increased appreciation for environmental protection, personal peace, and life satisfaction that money can't directly purchase. Now, while we're surrounded by all this natural beauty, it's important to address some practical concerns that anyone considering long-term life in the Maldives needs to understand: safety, healthcare, and education. These aren't the most exciting topics, but they're crucial for making informed decisions about tropical island living. Let's start with safety, because this is often one of the first concerns people have about living in a remote tropical location. The short answer is that the Maldives is remarkably safe, consistently ranking among the safest countries in the world for both residents and visitors. Crime rates are extremely low, violent crime is virtually non-existent, and the social structure of small island communities creates natural safety networks that protect everyone. The social dynamics of small island living contribute significantly to safety. In communities where everyone knows everyone, where family relationships extend across generations, and where reputation and social standing are crucial, Antisocial behavior is naturally discouraged and quickly addressed. There's also a strong cultural emphasis on hospitality and protection of guests that makes foreign residents feel welcomed and secure. Petty crime does exist, but it's primarily opportunistic theft that can be easily avoided with basic precautions. Leaving valuable items unsecured in public areas, displaying expensive electronics carelessly, or leaving accommodation unlocked are the main risk factors. Most long-term residents report that they feel safer in the Maldives than they did in their home countries, particularly when it comes to personal safety while walking alone, even at night. The legal system in the Maldives is based on Islamic law combined with modern civil law, and it's generally fair and accessible to foreign residents. However, it's crucial to understand that certain behaviors that might be legal or tolerated in Western countries are illegal here. Alcohol consumption, drug use, adultery, and disrespecting Islam are serious legal offenses that can result in fines, deportation, or imprisonment. Understanding and respecting these laws isn't just about legal compliance. It's about showing respect for the culture that's welcoming you. Natural disaster risks are relatively low in the Maldives. While the islands are vulnerable to sea level rise as a long-term climate change concern, day-to-day weather-related risks are manageable. Tropical storms can occur, but the Maldives is generally outside the major cyclone zones that affect other parts of the Indian Ocean. The biggest weather-related concerns are usually temporary flooding during heavy rains and occasional rough seas that might disrupt transportation schedules. Healthcare in the Maldives operates on multiple levels, and understanding the system is important for long-term residents. Each inhabited island has at least a basic health post staffed by trained health workers who can handle routine medical issues, minor injuries, and basic emergency care. These health posts are generally well equipped for common tropical health concerns and routine medical needs. For more serious medical issues, regional hospitals serve groups of islands and provide more comprehensive medical services including emergency care, surgical capabilities, and specialist consultations. The regional hospital system is quite good for addressing most medical needs that do not require highly specialized care. Costs for local healthcare are remarkably affordable. Basic consultations typically cost $3 to $10 USD, and prescription medications are generally much cheaper than Western prices. For serious medical emergencies or specialized care, patients are typically transferred to Malé, which has the country's main hospital with modern facilities and international standard care. In cases requiring treatment not available in the Maldives, medical evacuation to India or other countries with advanced medical facilities is available, though this requires comprehensive health insurance. The tropical location does mean exposure to some health concerns that might be unfamiliar to visitors from temperate climates. Dengue fever, carried by mosquitoes, occurs occasionally and requires medical attention. Skin infections, heat-related illnesses, and dehydration are preventable but common issues for people adjusting to tropical living. Water-related illnesses from contaminated sources can occur, though most inhabited islands have safe water supplies. Preventive healthcare is crucial for tropical living. This includes using mosquito repellent regularly, staying hydrated, protecting skin from intense sun exposure, and maintaining good hygiene practices. Many health issues can be prevented with proper precautions and awareness of tropical health risks. Mental health care services are limited in the Maldives, which is an important consideration for people with existing mental health concerns, or those who might struggle with the isolation aspects of island living. While the peaceful, stress-free environment is beneficial for many people's mental health, others might find the remote location, cultural differences, or limited social options challenging. For families with children, education options exist but are limited compared to major urban areas. Local schools follow the Maldivian national curriculum and provide education in Divahi, with English as a second language. The quality of education varies between islands, with some schools providing excellent basic education, while others might have limited resources or facilities. International schooling options are primarily available in Malay, which might require families to live there or send children as boarding students. Some families choose homeschooling or online education programs while living on local islands, which can work well given the slower pace of life and more flexible schedules. For digital nomad families, the education question often becomes a major factor in deciding whether long-term Maldivian living is practical. Some families successfully combine world schooling, online curricula, and periodic visits to other countries for educational experiences, but this requires significant planning and commitment. Healthcare insurance for foreign residents is crucial and should include comprehensive coverage including medical evacuation insurance. While basic healthcare costs are low, emergency evacuation or serious medical treatment can be expensive. Many long-term residents maintain international health insurance that provides coverage both in the Maldives and in their home countries. Prescription medications are generally available, but specific brands or specialized medications might not be accessible locally. Residents with ongoing medical conditions should ensure they can access their required medications or acceptable substitutes before making long-term commitments to living in the Maldives. Dental care is available on larger islands and in Malay, with basic dental services being quite affordable. However, complex dental procedures might require travel to countries with more advanced dental facilities. Many residents schedule dental care during visits to other countries rather than relying solely on local options. Emergency services are well organized given the geographic challenges. Coast Guard services provide rapid response for marine emergencies, and helicopter evacuation is available for serious medical emergencies, though weather conditions can sometimes delay emergency transportation. Each inhabited island has communication systems for requesting emergency assistance. The overall health and wellness benefits of Maldivian living often outweigh the healthcare limitations for many residents. The active lifestyle, stress reduction, excellent air quality, abundant fresh seafood, and tropical climate provide significant health benefits. Many residents report improvements in conditions like high blood pressure, stress-related disorders, and lifestyle-related health issues after relocating to the Maldives. With safety and healthcare covered, let's move on to the practical legal requirements for making this tropical dream a reality. Visas, remote work considerations, and the essential tips that every potential expat needs to know before taking the plunge. The visa situation for the Maldives is refreshingly simple compared to many countries, which is one of the reasons why it's becoming increasingly popular among digital nomads and long-term travelers. Citizens from most countries receive a free 30-day tourist visa upon arrival. No advance paperwork, no fees, no complicated applications. You literally just show up at Ibrahim Nasir International Airport with a valid passport, and you're granted 30 days to explore paradise. But here's where it gets interesting for people considering longer stays. This 30-day visa can be extended multiple times, up to a maximum of 90 days total per visit. Extensions cost 750 rupiah, about $49 USD, for each additional 30-day period and can be processed at immigration offices on local islands or in Malay. The process is straightforward. You fill out a simple form, pay the fee, and typically receive your extension the same day. For digital nomads and remote workers who want to stay longer than 90 days, the strategy involves brief exits from the country, followed by re-entry for another 90-day period. This is commonly called a visa run, and it's a well-established practice that immigration authorities understand and accommodate. Popular destinations for visa runs include nearby countries like Sri Lanka, India, or even just a brief trip to Dubai, which can be done affordably and quickly. The key to successful long-term staying in the Maldives is understanding that you're technically always a tourist in the eyes of the law. This means you cannot legally work for Maldivian companies or earn income from Maldivian sources while on a tourist visa. However, remote work for foreign companies, freelancing for international clients, or running online businesses based outside the Maldives is generally not restricted under tourist visa conditions. This legal framework works perfectly for digital nomads, remote employees, online entrepreneurs, and retirees with foreign income sources. As long as your income is generated from outside the Maldives and you're not taking work away from Maldivian citizens, the authorities are generally very accommodating to long-term visitors who contribute to the local economy through their spending. The growing digital nomad community in the Maldives has created informal networks and resources that help newcomers navigate the visa renewal process, plan visa runs, and understand the practical aspects of long-term staying. Social media groups, informal meetups, and word-of-mouth information sharing make the administrative aspects much easier than trying to figure everything out independently. One important consideration is that overstaying your visa is taken seriously and can result in significant fines, deportation, and bans on future entry. It's crucial to keep track of your visa expiration dates and plan extensions or exits accordingly. Many long-term residents set phone reminders and plan their travel schedules around visa requirements to avoid any legal complications. Banking and financial services for tourists are somewhat limited. Most daily transactions are conducted in cash using Maldivian rupiah, which you can obtain from ATMs using international debit or credit cards. However, ATM availability varies between islands. Larger islands like Maafushi and Hulhumalé have multiple ATMs, while smaller islands might have limited or no ATM access. Credit card acceptance is growing but still limited primarily to larger guest houses, restaurants, and shops that cater to international visitors. For daily expenses like local food, transportation, and small purchases, cash is essential. Many residents find it practical to maintain bank accounts in nearby countries like Sri Lanka, or to use international banking services that provide better access to their funds. Internet banking and online financial management work well from the Maldives, allowing remote workers and digital nomads to manage their finances from anywhere with reliable internet. However, some financial institutions have security protocols that flag unusual geographic locations, so it's wise to notify your banks about your travel plans to avoid having accounts frozen due to suspected fraud. Tax implications for long-term staying vary greatly depending on your nationality and income sources. Since you're technically always a tourist, you're not subject to Maldivian income taxes. However, you may still have tax obligations in your home country, and the rules around tax residency can be complex for people spending extended periods abroad. Consulting with tax professionals familiar with international tax law is recommended for anyone planning extended stays. The remote work infrastructure in the Maldives has improved dramatically in recent years, making it increasingly viable for location-independent professionals. Internet speeds on inhabited islands are generally adequate for video calls, file uploads, and typical remote work requirements. Fiber optic connections are available on many islands, providing stable, high-speed internet that rivals what's available in many Western cities. Co-working spaces are still limited but growing. Hulhumalé has several cafes and informal co-working spaces that cater to digital nomads, and some guest houses on islands like Maafushi are creating dedicated workspace areas for their long-term guests. The growing community of remote workers is also creating informal co-working arrangements and networking opportunities. Time zone considerations are important for remote workers. The Maldives operates on Maldives Time, MVT, which is UTC +5. This puts it in a convenient position for working with both Asian and European clients, though coordination with American clients requires some adjustment to schedules. Many remote workers find the time zone works well for asynchronous communication and allows for concentrated work periods during quieter hours. Cultural integration is crucial for successful long-term living in the Maldives. This involves more than just following laws. It means understanding and respecting Islamic customs, learning basic Divahi phrases, participating appropriately in community activities, and showing genuine interest in Maldivian culture and traditions. Foreign residents who make efforts to integrate culturally are much more welcomed and supported by local communities. Language learning, while not essential since English is widely spoken, demonstrates respect and facilitates deeper cultural connections. Basic Divehi phrases for greetings, thanks, and common interactions are appreciated by locals and make daily life smoother. Many foreign residents find that learning some Divehi also helps them understand cultural nuances and participate more fully in community life. Religious respect is absolutely essential. This means dressing modestly in public areas, avoiding public displays of affection, respecting prayer times and religious observances, and never criticizing or disrespecting Islamic practices. Understanding that the Maldives is a 100% Muslim country and adjusting behavior accordingly isn't just about legal compliance, it's about being a respectful guest in someone else's home. Shopping and supply considerations are important for long-term residents. While local islands have shops for basic necessities, selection is limited compared to urban areas in developed countries. Planning periodic trips to Malay or other countries for shopping can be necessary for specific items, electronics, clothing, or specialty foods. Import restrictions and customs regulations affect what you can bring into the country. Alcohol, pork products, religious materials from other faiths, and certain medications are prohibited. Understanding these restrictions before traveling prevents customs problems and ensures you don't accidentally bring prohibited items. The expat community, while still relatively small, is growing and becoming more organized. Long-term foreign residents often develop strong support networks, sharing practical information, organizing social activities, and helping newcomers adjust to island life. These communities provide valuable resources for everything from finding accommodation to understanding local customs. Emergency planning is important for anyone living in a remote island environment. This includes understanding evacuation procedures, maintaining emergency communications, having contingency plans for medical emergencies, and keeping important documents and emergency funds accessible. While emergencies are rare, being prepared provides peace of mind and practical security. As we reach the end of this journey through the hidden Maldives, it's time to address the ultimate question. Should you actually pack up your life and move to this tropical paradise? After exploring the costs, the culture, the practicalities, and the lifestyle, let's have an honest conversation about whether the $700 a month Maldives dream is right for you. First, let's acknowledge what we've discovered together. The Maldives isn't just a luxury destination for honeymooners and celebrities. It's a living, breathing nation with real communities, affordable living options, and opportunities for authentic cultural experiences that most tourists never encounter. We've seen how $700 a month can provide comfortable tropical living in one of the world's most beautiful locations, surrounded by pristine beaches, crystal clear waters, and some of the friendliest people on Earth. But living in paradise isn't for everyone, and it's important to be realistic about who might thrive here and who might struggle. The Maldives lifestyle works best for people who can embrace simplicity, who find peace in slower rhythms of life, and who are genuinely interested in experiencing a different culture rather than trying to recreate their home country in a tropical setting. If you're someone who thrives on urban energy, needs constant entertainment options, requires extensive shopping opportunities, or struggles with cultural adaptation, the Maldives might feel restrictive rather than liberating. The limitations we've discussed – limited nightlife, conservative social norms, restricted alcohol access, and visa renewal requirements – are deal breakers for some people but attractive features for others. The people who seem to thrive most in long-term Maldivian living are those seeking radical lifestyle changes rather than just exotic locations. Remote workers burned out from urban stress, retirees looking for affordable paradise living, digital nomads prioritizing experiences over possessions, and people seeking spiritual or personal transformation often find exactly what they need in the Maldives. The financial advantages are undeniable. Where else can you live steps from world-class beaches, eat fresh seafood daily, experience incredible natural beauty, and maintain a comfortable lifestyle for less than most people pay for rent alone? The $700 monthly budget we've outlined provides a quality of life that would cost thousands of dollars elsewhere, and the health benefits of reduced stress, active living, and clean environment add value that's impossible to quantify. However, successful long-term living here requires certain personality traits and circumstances. Adaptability is crucial. Things work differently here, and flexibility is essential for navigating cultural differences, logistical challenges, and the occasional inconveniences of island living. Independence is also important. While the community is supportive, you need to be comfortable with self-reliance and problem-solving in situations where familiar support systems aren't available. Remote work capability or independent income sources are practically essential for most people considering long-term stays. The tourist visa system works well for people with location-independent income, but it's not suitable for those seeking traditional employment. Having stable income streams that don't depend on physical presence in your home country is crucial for making this lifestyle sustainable. Cultural curiosity and respect are non-negotiable requirements. The Maldives welcomes visitors, but successful integration requires genuine interest in Islamic culture, willingness to learn local customs, and respect for traditional values. People who view different cultures as obstacles rather than opportunities for growth will struggle here. For families, the decision becomes more complex. While the Maldives offers incredible safety and natural beauty for children, educational limitations and healthcare considerations require careful planning. Some families thrive with alternative education approaches and periodic travel for specialized services, while others find the limitations too restrictive. The seasonal considerations also affect lifestyle satisfaction. Some people love the variety of wet and dry seasons, while others prefer consistent weather conditions. Understanding your own preferences for weather, social activity levels, and environmental stimulation helps determine whether year-round tropical living appeals to you. The visa requirements, while manageable, do require ongoing attention and periodic travel that some people find disruptive. If you value stability and hate dealing with bureaucratic processes, the need for regular visa renewals and periodic exits might become annoying rather than adventurous. But for those who do find their fit here, the rewards can be transformational. Many long-term residents report significant improvements in mental health, physical fitness, life satisfaction, and personal relationships. The combination of natural beauty, cultural richness, affordable living, and simplified lifestyle creates conditions that many people find deeply healing and fulfilling. The environmental benefits are also worth considering. Living in the Maldives naturally reduces carbon footprints through simplified living, reduced consumption, limited transportation needs, and connection to sustainable local food systems. For environmentally conscious individuals, this lifestyle aligns with values while providing personal benefits. The adventure aspect appeals to many people seeking more excitement and novelty in their lives. Island hopping, incredible snorkeling and diving, cultural exploration, and the simple adventure of living somewhere completely different provide ongoing stimulation and growth opportunities that many people crave but can't find in traditional lifestyle choices. If you're considering making this move, I recommend starting with extended visits rather than immediate permanent relocation. Spend several months here during different seasons, experience both the highlights and the challenges, test your remote work setup, and honestly assess your adaptation to the cultural and lifestyle differences. Many successful long-term residents started with shorter stays that gradually extended as they confirmed their compatibility with island living. Building connections with the existing expat community and local residents provides valuable insights and support systems that make the transition much smoother. The informal networks of information sharing, social support, and practical assistance can be crucial for successful adaptation. Financial preparation should include emergency funds, comprehensive health insurance, and backup plans for income disruption. While living costs are low, having financial security provides peace of mind and flexibility for handling unexpected situations or opportunities. The Maldives represents a unique opportunity in our increasingly connected world, the chance to live affordably in paradise while maintaining modern conveniences and global connections. For people seeking alternatives to expensive urban living, meaningful cultural experiences, and lifestyle simplification without sacrifice, it offers possibilities that exist nowhere else. Whether the $700 Maldives dream is right for you depends on your values, circumstances, personality, and goals. But now you have the information to make that decision based on reality rather than fantasy. The hidden Maldives is real, it's affordable, and it's accessible to those willing to embrace a different way of living. The islands are calling, the lagoons are waiting, and paradise doesn't have to cost a fortune. The only question left is, are you ready to answer the call? If this journey through the hidden Maldives has inspired you to learn more about affordable tropical living, unconventional travel destinations, or budget-friendly paradise locations, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the places and lifestyles that most people never discover. Hit the like button if this changed your perspective on what's possible with creative lifestyle design, and drop a comment below. Are you seriously considering the Maldives after watching this? What questions do you still have about making this dream a reality? And if you know someone who's dreaming of escaping to paradise but thinks it's financially impossible, share this with them. Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is showing them that their dreams might be more achievable than they ever imagined. The Maldives is waiting, paradise is affordable, and your next chapter could be the most beautiful one yet.